it's Karen, and I said to some of you that I would do a quick video on how to create the faux bleach look. I was showing this card this week, which has been part of the sneak peeks for the countdown for the May release of Clearly Besotted stamps. And amongst that release is this set, which is called Perfect Peonies, and is a really gorgeous set. And I just used it to create a faux bleach technique, which I'm sure has been come up with already, but I was just playing around and I thought, gosh, this really looks like a faux bleach effect. So if I bring it up to the camera, you can see that it only really works with a darker background, but it doesn't matter about the intensity of the colour, but it does need to be a darker colour. I mean, a darker pink or a darker green or grey, all of these would work fine. The secret is with using watered down acrylic paints and by leaving some of the colour still showing, so it looks like there's been a gradual bleaching. I did do bleaching years ago and I love the effect, but I didn't like the smell of the bleach and I was scared that the bleach was going to fall over and damage things on my desk. So this is kind of the best of both worlds. The paints that I've been using are my go-to acrylic inks. They're by PaperArtsy and they're called Fresco Finish Chalk Acrylics. And these are the colours that I've used. They are very highly pigmented. They're beautiful to use. They're really creamy, really easy to add colour down. And they come in different finishes. So some of them are opaque. Some of that, I don't think I've got any that are not opaque. But if you look at the PaperArtsy website, you'll see that they have some semi-translucent and some translucent ones. But if you water the opaque ones down, you end up with a nearly translucent effect. I mean, this is more of a semi-translucent effect. And it's really easy to do. So I've already stamped my flowers, used them in different directions randomly. I've just used clear mark pad from Tonic, which means that it's like a sticky pad that will mean that your embossing powder will stick to it. So I've just used some white. So that's how I've prepared it. So to show you how to do it, all you need is something to put your paint on. Because I'm only using tiny amounts, I've just used a clear acrylic block. And the nearest pen I couldn't find, I normally use my Tonic water brushes. But these ones I've been sent and I absolutely love them too, these Vicky Boutin ones. They're very, very fine tip. Hopefully you can see that there. But they've got this really easy to press button in the middle. So if you need extra water to come down, if you were flooding it or you wanted a really wet wash, this is a really handy feature. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take the minutest bit of paint and we're just going to pop it into whoop, there we go, to help if my there we go, I've pressed the button, it's all come out. So what we're going to do is just we're going to use the white to start off with. Okay, so we're just going to pop the white on and we're going to start in the centre and we're just going to pull the paint out. It would help if I actually had paint on there. So just pop it in and we're just going to pull it out. There you go. If you get too much, just share it around other elements and then just pull it down. That's all we're doing, just making sure that we do leave the edges of the petals or the leaves or whatever you're using, that you don't actually have any paint there. It just helps give the effect that it has actually been bleached. Now I've got too much paint on there, so I'll just pull it through with the other ones. I'll just put these on, take the excess off, and then pull these back down. Okay, so you can just see I'm not using any great skills. I'm just literally pulling the paint, and because this is a water brush, obviously it's adding water to it. It's thinning the water down towards the edges, and that is all it is. It is super, super simple. So you'd go around on all of your petals. Obviously, I'm not going to do them all because you'd be bored silly and I'd be here all day. But it's just going to give you an idea of how to achieve the effect. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just literally scribbling. You can see that I'm being super quick. And there's the leaves, and we'd go on to do, there's some more there. I'll just use my paint. There we go. Let's just pop it in. That's all we're doing. Super, super simple. It doesn't take any great watercolouring skills. If you've never watercoloured before, not a problem. You'll find this really, really easy. So once that's dried, this is why I've done one already, then you're going to add extra colour in there. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink. I'm just going to flick this out. This is going to add a bit more interest. So rather than pulling it out in a big wash, I'm just going to flick the colour. It gives the idea that you've got a bit of patterning on the petals. See, I've got too much paint there. If you've got too much paint, take it off on your acrylic block, go back in and just move the paint a little bit more. And if you've got way too much and you're worried that you've, just get some kitchen roll or tissue, just dab it off. And then you can keep going and pulling it down. So that's all I'm doing, going through, just flicking the paint towards the edges. And then all we're going to do, we just get rid of that colour. I'm going to add some vanilla to the centre. Super, super easy. And then all I've done with the leaves is I've used the lighter colour, which is guacamole. And just pop that on exactly the same way that we've done the white, but we're just going to pull it through with the colours. Okay, so exactly the same. I'm not going to do it all. And then you will just go back in and you will add a little bit of contrast using the darker colour. If you're wanting the embossing powder to show through, because you've obviously painted over it, all you need to do is just dab it and that embossing will come back through. And then all I've done, once I've done the whole lot, if I show you this one here, I've gone back in with some gel pen. I've just made some little dots around, and then I've just added some glitter. I think I used some of my Nouveau glitter drops. I think that's White Blizzard that I've used there. And then I've just added the sentiment, which also comes in the set. There you go. Now I'm not going to do a whole run through of all of the sets because I know Michelle will be doing one of those. But I thought I would quickly show you the cards that I've done for any of you who haven't seen them. This one here is a really good, it's such a fun set. This one is Fairy Tale Princess, and if you have a look here, it's hard to see, I'll take it out of the packaging. It actually only has one shoe. Can you see there? Sorry, this light's, I'll try and get it so you can see it there. You can see that little shoe there. So all I've done is I've stamped it onto post-it notes, and I think I created about 3 or 4 just cut out shoes, and then with the process of just masking, I just laid 1 or 2 or 3 on top and then just kept stamping, and it didn't take very long. It was actually a really quick process. And I just drew lines around the edges with fine liner, and then just add a little bit of shading to make it look like she was in a shoe shop making a horrendous mess and trying to find a pair of shoes. Had I had more time, I would try to have done maybe a pair of shoes, but actually it gives the impression, and when you're making scene cards, it's not about making it absolutely correct as far as the scene is concerned, it's just giving the impression of the scene. And that sentiment comes with the stamp set as well. One of the other ones I did, which again was using the Perfect Peony set, was this card, and that was using masking again. So I actually fussy cut round and masked all of the images. I mean, you could do this using the matching dies, because 6 of the sets out of the 7, I mean, apart from the sentiment set, they all have matching dies. So if you don't want to be bothered fussy cutting, you could simply die cut onto like a post-it note and then use that for masking. And then if you wanted to trim it down a little bit more, you could do quite easily. So I just masked it, stamped it twice, and then I used some Prismacolor pencils after I'd done like a little bit of watercolouring using Nouveau Aquaflow pencils. And then I used one of the sentiments from the sentiment set that is come with this month's release called Scrumptious Thank You, which I should have taken them out of the package, shouldn't I? Which is this set here. And then the last set that I used for one of the sneak peeks is this one here, okay? Which is a really fun set. It's got lots of little characters that go together. So you can see you've got salt and pepper, you've got cookies and milk, you've got cheese and biscuits, There you are, I can't see them. There you are. That's a little bit better. So I've just used the gin and tonic and I've coloured it pink like it's a designer. Let me get another white piece, any white card around. Yeah, I'll try and put it there. There we go. So you can see you've got a little pink designer gin, gin and tonic, the little cat and the dog, so cute. And then I've just put some floating hearts with acetate, and that's how I've created the cards for this month's release. So I hope you'll give the faux watercolouring a go. It is really, really easy and it creates such a beautiful effect. I hope you enjoy shopping once the May release is out, and look forward to seeing what you create. Do post them in the Clearly Besotted fan group on Facebook so we can all enjoy what you've created. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.